destruction business, creating vaccines and antibodies, money to start production of anything that is promising, a dual system. Here's when we turn the corner, when infections go down, not up, when therapies begin to degrade the virus, and when a vaccine is on the horizon. That's when we've turned the corner. The money in this bill will accelerate turning the corner. So I want to thank Senator Daines and my good friend from South Dakota presiding, who's been a governor who understands give and take, getting to yes. Nobody does a better job of getting to yes than our presiding officer. Both of you come from the part of the world, the big sky country, and where you have to live off the land, where neighbor helps neighbor. Well, we need that attitude in this body. The store needs to close. Mr. President, end negotiations. Write the bill and let's vote. And the reason we need to vote is because people are suffering and literally dying. Senator Daines, can you tell me what it's like in Montana right now?
Senator from Montana. Senator Graham, thank you for joining me here tonight. I wish the C-SPAN camera for a moment could pan this chamber. It is empty. There are 3 senators in this chamber right now. Senator Rounds is the presiding officer from South Dakota. He has to be here because he's the presiding officer. Senator Graham is here from South Carolina, and I'm here. Senator Graham, this chamber is empty tonight. We should be here at this moment voting. Our phones are ringing off the hook. 23 hours ago, in fact, I was presiding, and we were told that we were at the 1-yard line. The minority leader came down here and said, we're at the 1-yard line. We're going to have discussions all night.
Would you yield for a question?
I will, Senator
Have
Graham.
you gotten phone calls from Democratic colleagues wanting more money?
I have.
That makes it appear to me that negotiations are not on the 1-yard line.
So we're at the 1-yard line. We were told last night negotiations would go all night. Everybody here said it's got to be a good bipartisan bill. But what we have right now is we have a situation, we've got an economic emergency on our hands. This is like somebody has been seriously injured and they've called the ambulance, and we're debating right now about what color of ambulance to send. Well, the patient is dying on the side of the highway. Listen to some of these stories just today that I've had from the people of Montana. There was a 60-year-old woman. She provides cleaning services in Ravalli County. That's south of Missoula. It's in the Bitterroot, beautiful part of our state. She said normal business is almost down to nothing because folks are scared to let her clean their homes and businesses because of the coronavirus. To make ends meet, she said she's even willing to do outside yard work during these times. She's worried about becoming homeless and needs immediate relief. This is a real story that came from a Montanan today. I posted a video, Senator Graham, about her plight and a couple others I'm going to share with you tonight. Here's a warming part of this story. We had Montanans hear about her situation, and they said, we're going to band together here and help her. We're going to hire her and try to make sure she doesn't become homeless, which is her current concern. Listen, we were told we were at the 1-yard line last night to get this done. All I got to say is the Senate may think it's at the 1-yard line right now, but Montanans are getting sacked. In fact, our unemployment claims in Montana, since March 17th, we just looked it up 15 minutes ago, 14,350 Montanans have filed for unemployment in the last week. There was a gentleman from Kalispell, another story here. He said his business has been hit hard because of the coronavirus. He wrote, and I quote, help, both for the businesses to remain afloat and our team members that are being laid off or having reductions in work hours. He's worried about his employees. Emergency personnel in Missoula, Montana, they let us know that ambulance drivers, EMTs, must travel longer distances because the volunteer fire departments don't have enough equipment or staff. They can't get enough personal protective equipment. That's in this bill, Senator Graham. Immediate billions of dollars right now to get more PPE to the front lines. And he said this, many are working while spouses have lost their jobs and they're wondering if they'll be able to pay their bills if there's no relief soon, and their family members who've lost their jobs for the community. They need relief now. I just got this letter. This came in this evening. In fact, it's stamped 7:50 p.m. Dear Senator Daines, I'm the general manager of Fairmont Hot Springs. He gave us permission to use his name, located just outside Anaconda, Montana. I'm not going to read you the description of the plight that he's in, but here's the bottom line. I just processed 146 layoff notices, or 85% of our staff. This is this evening. It's breaking the hearts of these employers to lay their people off. It's breaking the hearts of these employees who are losing their jobs while the Senate is sitting here fiddling at the moment. We have got to come together and pass this bill tonight. Senator Graham.
I would like to ask a question. I don't know how many employees the gentleman has, but do you agree with me that if you have 500 or less employees, you're a small business, under this bill, instead of laying off your employees, you can go to a bank or credit union and get an SBA loan that will eventually become a grant to pay your employees up to $80,000 per employee. You can also pay the rent that's coming due. Do you agree that that's in this bill?
Senator Graham, that is in this bill. For these small businesses, help is on its way. But we can't send the help, Senator Graham, until we pass the bill. But the good news for the general manager of Fairmont Hot Springs is that if we pass this bill, he'll have the ability, as you just said, it's not a loan, it'll be a grant that's forgiven. In other words, he won't have to pay it back as long as he keeps the payroll paid, the rent paid, the mortgage paid. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
And hire back the people.
He wouldn't have to lay them off today. In fact, he just continues to write. He says they just canceled conferences total $848,000 in the last week. This is a big deal in Montana. In fact, another small business owner in Montana wrote this. And by the way, they let us know that two other of our well-known kind of resorts, Grouse Mountain Resort up in Whitefish, as well as Chico Hot Springs. In fact, Senator Graham, Chico Hot Springs is where in 1979, that's where we had our homecoming dance dinner at Bozeman Senior High School.
Everybody knows that. You don't need to tell us stuff we already know.
But listen, they're in trouble. They're temporarily closed. In fact, today they just closed Yellowstone National Park and Glacier National Park. In fact, this business owner said that they're looking currently at additional layoffs. They're looking at cash flows of nearly zero. Okay, so we're hearing about the plight right now of Montanans losing their jobs, losing their businesses. 14,000 plus Montanans have filed unemployment claims. And what's the Senate doing tonight, Senator Graham? Look around this chamber. There's nobody here. It's me and you.
Well, if the senator would yield for a second, all the people negotiating are my friends. I've been in tough negotiations. It's hard to get to yes, but we've never faced a problem like this since World War II and 9/11. This is not any time. This is not any bill. This is not just another legislative endeavor. This is life, it's death, it's the difference between bankruptcy and having economic hope. It's the difference between having supplies you need to save lives and not getting it. So to my colleagues who are doing the negotiation, stop. It's over. Write the bill. Let's vote. Every time I hear it's close, that means we're just a couple of $100 billion away. And the reason I'm so agitated is not to try to be cheap. The bill is $2 trillion. Is that I've been called, like Senator Daines, in the last few hours, wanting more money for this and that. And all of them may be very worthy projects. But we need to stop negotiating at this very moment, write the bill, and vote tonight, no later than tomorrow. And